My beloved child, it's me, Jesus. I know you're here tonight because your heart is heavy, your mind is restless, and sleep feels like a distant shore you can't quite reach. I see you there, perhaps lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, or sitting in your favorite chair as the world grows quiet around you. Your thoughts are spinning like autumn leaves in the wind, and peace seems as elusive as morning mist. I want you to know that I've been waiting for this moment with you. Not just tonight, but for all the nights when you've tossed and turned, when anxiety has been your unwelcome companion, when physical pain has kept you from the rest your soul craves. I've been here, watching over you with the same love that moved me to calm the storms on Galilee, to heal the broken, to comfort the weary. Tonight is different though. Tonight, you've chosen to invite me into your sacred space of rest. And oh, how my heart rejoices when my children come to me, not with grand gestures or perfect prayers, but simply as they are tired, seeking, longing for peace. You know, when I walked the dusty roads of Palestine 2,000 years ago, I often sought quiet places to rest and pray. I understand weariness in ways that might surprise you. I know what it feels like to carry burdens, to feel the weight of others' pain, to long for a moment of perfect stillness. Even the Son of God needed rest, needed those precious hours when the soul could simply breathe and be. But here's what I learned in those moments of divine rest, and what I want to share with you now. True rest isn't just about closing your eyes or lying down. True rest is about releasing control, about letting go of the day's worries and tomorrow's fears, about trusting that while you sleep, I am still working, still watching, still loving you with an everlasting love. I notice how some of you have already begun to feel a gentle peace settling over you, like a soft blanket being drawn up around your shoulders. That's my presence making itself known. Others might feel their breathing naturally slowing, their heartbeat finding a quieter rhythm. This is how I work, gently, lovingly, never forcing, always inviting. As we journey together through these moments, I want you to imagine that we're walking through the most beautiful garden you've ever seen. The air is warm but not heavy. There's a gentle breeze that carries the scent of jasmine and roses. And somewhere in the distance, you can hear the soft murmur of a brook flowing over smooth stones. This is where I want to meet you tonight, in this place of perfect peace, where healing begins and true rest is found. Come with me now, dear one. Let me show you what it means to truly rest in my love. Do you remember the very first garden, my beloved? Long before your worries existed, before the weight of the world settled on human shoulders, there was a place where I walked in the cool of the day with my children. That garden still exists, you know, not just in memory, but in the realm of the spirit, where perfect love meets perfect peace. I want to take you there now, in your heart and mind. Picture yourself standing at the entrance to this garden, just as the first light of dawn touches the horizon. The grass beneath your feet is soft and cool, still holding tiny droplets of dew that catch the light like diamonds. You're not hurrying here, not rushing towards some destination. You're simply walking with me, your hand in mine, and for the first time in so long, you feel ... safe. I created this place with you in mind, you know. Every flower that blooms here, every tree that sways gently in the breeze, every bird that sings its morning song, all of it was designed to bring peace to hearts like yours. Hearts that have carried too much, worried too long, hoped and been disappointed, trusted and been hurt. As we walk deeper into the garden, you notice how your breathing has changed. It's deeper now, more natural. Your shoulders, which have been carrying the weight of so many responsibilities, begin to relax. This is what happens when you truly enter my presence. The burdens that seemed so permanent begin to feel lighter. The problems that loomed so large start to find their proper perspective. Tell me about your day, I say to you as we settle beside a gentle stream. And perhaps you do, pouring out the frustrations, the fears, the little disappointments that have accumulated like pebbles in your shoes. Or perhaps you say nothing at all, and that's perfectly fine too. Sometimes the heart speaks loudest in silence, and I hear every unspoken word, every sigh, every longing. I want you to know something that might surprise you. I don't love you more when you're strong, and I don't love you less when you're weak. I don't love you more when you have your life together, and I don't love you less when everything feels like it's falling apart. My love for you is as constant as the sunrise, as unchanging as the stars, as deep as the ocean, and as high as the heavens. Right now, as we sit by this stream in the garden of first light, I'm not thinking about your failures or your mistakes. I'm not cataloging your worries or making a list of everything you think you need to fix about yourself. I'm simply enjoying being with you. I'm delighting in this moment when you've chosen to trust me with your restlessness, to bring me your insomnia, to let me be your peace. You see, I know what's been keeping you awake at night. I know about the health concerns that whisper their fears in the dark hours. I know about the relationships that feel strained or broken. I know about the financial pressures, the work stress, the family dynamics that sometimes feel impossible to navigate. I know about the dreams that seem too distant and the regrets that feel too close. But here in this garden, in this place of first light where everything is being made new, I want you to hear my heart for you. You are not your problems. You are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are my beloved child, created in my image, purchased with my blood, sealed with my spirit, and held in my everlasting arms. As the light grows brighter around us, painting the sky in soft pastels of pink and gold, I invite you to release the day that has passed. Whatever went wrong, whatever you wish you had done differently, whatever words you wish you could take back, or opportunities you feel you missed, let them go now. They belong to yesterday, and I am making all things new. And the tomorrow that hasn't yet come, with all its unknowns and possibilities for worry, release that too. Tomorrow will have its own grace, its own strength, its own provision. But right now, in this moment, all you need to do is rest in my love. Feel how the morning light grows warmer on your face, how the gentle breeze carries away the tension you've been holding in your body. Listen to the birds greeting the new day with songs of pure joy, and know that this is how I want your heart to be: free, light, filled with the music of hope. The garden grows quieter now as the morning mist begins to lift, and I see in your eyes that peace is beginning to take root. Come, let me show you deeper places of rest, where healing flows like honey and sleep comes as naturally as breathing. From the garden of first light, I lead you down a winding path bordered by lavender and rosemary, their gentle fragrances rising with each step. The path slopes gently downward, and you realize we're descending into a valley, not a dark valley, but one filled with the soft, golden light of late morning. This is the valley of healing waters, where I've brought countless souls who needed restoration, renewal, and deep, lasting peace. As we walk, I notice you're moving differently now. The urgent, hurried pace that usually marks your days has given way to something more natural, more trusting. You're beginning to understand that in my presence, there's no need to rush, no deadline to meet, no performance to maintain. Here, you can simply be yourself, fully known and completely loved. Do you hear that? I ask you, and you pause to listen. At first, it's just a whisper on the breeze, but as we continue walking, the sound grows clearer, the gentle murmur of water flowing over rocks, musical and soothing. It's the sound of the healing stream that runs through the heart of this valley, fed by springs that never run dry. This water is different from any you've ever seen. It's crystal clear, but there's something about it that seems to shimmer with light from within. As we approach the stream, you can feel something changing in the air around you. The very atmosphere seems charged with peace, with possibility, with the kind of presence that makes weary souls want to linger. This is where I brought the woman at the well. I tell you, as we sit on smooth stones beside the flowing water. She came at noon, in the heat of the day, when no one else would be there. She was tired, not just from carrying water jars, but from carrying shame, disappointment, and the weight of choices that had left her feeling empty. But she left that day with living water flowing in her heart. I cup my hands and lift some of the crystal clear water, letting it trickle through my fingers as I speak. This is the water I offered her, and it's the same water I offer you now. Not just H2O, but living water, the kind that satisfies the deepest thirst, that heals from the inside out, that brings life to places that have felt dead for far too long. You might be wondering how water can heal insomnia, how anything could possibly calm the anxiety that has been your companion for so many nights. Let me show you something. I invite you to remove your shoes and step into the stream with me. Water is perfectly warm, not hot or cold, but exactly the temperature that makes your entire body sigh with relief. As the healing waters flow around your feet and ankles, you begin to feel something remarkable happening. It's as if the water is drawing out toxins, not just physical toxins, but emotional ones. The bitterness you've been carrying from that situation at work begins to dissolve. The worry about your children that has been keeping you awake starts to wash away. The fear about your health, the anxiety about your finances, the grief you've been carrying from losses that still feel too fresh, all of it begins to flow downstream, carried away by waters that have the power to cleanse souls. But there's more. As the water continues to flow around you, you begin to feel something flowing in peace. Yes, but also a kind of strength you haven't felt in years. It's not the anxious, striving kind of strength that comes from trying harder and pushing through. It's the quiet, confident strength that comes from knowing you're loved, knowing you're held, knowing that the one who spoke the universe into existence is personally invested in your rest, your healing, your well-being. I see tears in your eyes now, and that's okay. Sometimes healing comes with tears, not tears of sadness, but tears of relief, of release, of finally being able to let go of burdens you were never meant to carry alone. Let them come. Each tear that falls into these healing waters carries away something that has been weighing you down. My child, I say, my voice as gentle as the water flowing around us, I want you to know something. Every sleepless night you've endured, I was there. Every moment when anxiety felt overwhelming, I was there. Every time you wondered if you were strong enough to face another day, I was there, and I am here now. As we stand together in the healing waters, I want you to feel something shifting deep within you. It's subtle at first, like the first faint stirring of spring after a long winter, but it's real and it's powerful. It's your body remembering how to relax, your mind learning to release control, your spirit beginning to trust that rest is not just possible, it's promised. The water continues to flow around us, and with each gentle current, you feel lighter, more at peace. The physical tension you've been carrying in your neck and shoulders begins to melt away. The knot in your stomach that anxiety has tied and retied starts to loosen. Even chronic pain that has been your unwelcome companion begins to quiet as the healing waters do their gentle work. This is how I want you to remember tonight. I tell you as we prepare to leave the stream, not just as another attempt to find sleep, but as the night you discovered that healing is possible, that peace is available, that rest is your inheritance as my beloved child. As we step out of the water, you notice that your feet are completely dry, but something has changed. You feel different, cleaner, lighter, more hopeful than you have in months or maybe years. This is what happens when you allow me to minister to the deepest places of your need. This is what healing looks like when it comes from the source of all comfort. The healing waters continue their gentle song as we leave the valley. And I can see in your face that something profound has shifted. The tight lines around your eyes have softened, your breathing has deepened, and there's a lightness in your step that wasn't there before. But this is just the beginning of what I want to show you tonight. From the valley of healing waters, our path begins to climb gently upward. Don't worry, this isn't a difficult ascent. Your feet, still carrying the memory of the healing stream, seem to find each step effortlessly. The mountain we're approaching isn't steep or treacherous. It's more like a series of rolling hills that rise gradually toward a peak crowned with the most beautiful, gentle light you've ever seen. As we climb, I want to tell you about this mountain. This is where I often came during my time on earth, when the demands of ministry became overwhelming, when the crowds pressed in too close, when even my own disciples didn't understand what I was trying to teach them. This is the mountain of perfect trust, where heaven seems close enough to touch, and every worry finds its proper place in the vast landscape of divine love. You know, I say, as we pause at a natural resting place about halfway up, people often think that faith means having all the answers. They believe that trust requires understanding everything that's happening in their lives. But that's not what trust is at all. I gesture toward the valley below us, now spread out like a beautiful tapestry of greens and golds. From down there, you could only see a small portion of the landscape, but from here, you can see how everything connects the stream flowing. From the mountains to nourish the valleys, the way the morning mist rises and falls, how the entire ecosystem works together in perfect harmony. This is what I want you to understand about your life, especially on those nights when sleep eludes you and everything feels chaotic. From your perspective, lying there in the dark with your thoughts racing, it might feel like nothing makes sense. The challenges you're facing might seem random, unfair, or too much to bear. But I see the bigger picture. I see how this season of difficulty is actually preparing you for something beautiful. I see how your struggles are developing strength and compassion you didn't know you possessed. As we continue climbing, you might notice that your breathing has changed again. It's not labored from the climb, quite the opposite. It's deeper, more peaceful, as if your lungs are finally able to expand fully for the first time in months. This is what happens when you begin to trust at a deeper level. Your entire body relaxes because your soul knows it's safe. I want to show you something, I say, as we reach a meadow partway up the mountain. It's filled with wildflowers of every color imaginable, and the sight is so beautiful it takes your breath away. But there's something special about these flowers that you notice as you look closer. Some are fully bloomed, standing tall and proud in the sunshine. Others are still buds, their potential hidden but full of promise, and scattered throughout the meadow are flowers in every stage of growth, some just breaking through the soil, others halfway to bloom, each one perfect in its current stage. This is how I see my children, I tell you, as we walk slowly through the meadow. Everyone wants to be a fully bloomed flower, standing tall and confident. But I love you just as much in your bud stage, in your growing stage, even in your seed buried in dark soil stage. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to have everything figured out to rest in my care. I can see something shifting in your understanding, and it brings such joy to my heart. You're beginning to realize that the very things you've been judging yourself for, your struggles with sleep, your battles with anxiety, your imperfect faith, your human limitations, these aren't flaws to be ashamed of. They're opportunities for my grace to shine, invitations for my strength to be made perfect in your weakness. As we reach the summit of the mountain, the view is breathtaking. You can see for miles in every direction rolling hills dotted with groves of olive trees, rivers winding like silver ribbons through valleys, distant mountains purple in the afternoon haze. But what strikes you most is the quality of the light here. It's soft and golden, but also somehow alive, pulsing gently with a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. This is the light of perfect love, I explain as we sit together on warm stones at the peak. It's the same light that shone at creation when I spoke the world into existence. It's the light that shone at my transfiguration when my glory couldn't be contained. And it's the light that shines in your heart right now, even when you can't feel it. From this vantage point, I want to address something that's been troubling you. I know there are nights when you lie awake feeling guilty about your inability to sleep, frustrated with yourself for worrying, angry that your body won't cooperate with your desire for rest. You've tried everything, medications, techniques, lifestyle changes, and still, some nights, sleep feels impossible. Here's what I want you to understand. Your insomnia is not a sin. Your anxiety is not a character flaw. Your struggles are not evidence that you lack faith or that I'm disappointed in you. They're evidence that you're human, that you live in a broken world, that your heart is tender enough to be affected by pain and uncertainty. But here's what else I want you to know. Even your sleepless nights serve a purpose in my greater plan. Some of your most profound prayers have been whispered in the dark hours when the rest of the world slept. Some of your deepest moments of surrender have come when you finally stopped fighting your wakefulness and simply talked with me instead. Some of your most beautiful insights have emerged from the quiet solitude of those midnight hours. I'm not saying I want you to suffer. I long for your healing, for your rest, for your peace more than you can imagine. But I am saying that nothing, not even your struggles, is wasted in my economy of love. Everything can be redeemed. Everything can be used for good. Everything can become part of a beautiful story of grace. As the light begins to shift toward evening on our mountain, I invite you to do something with me. I want you to take all your worries, all your fears about tonight and tomorrow and next week and next year, and hand them to me. Not because I'm going to fix everything immediately, though I might, but because carrying them is not your job. Your job is to trust. Your job is to rest in my love. Your job is to be my beloved child. One by one, imagine placing each concern into my hands. The health issue that's been keeping you awake, give it to me. The relationship that feels strained, give it to me. The financial pressure, the work stress, the family concerns, all of it. Watch as I take each burden and transform it into something light, something manageable, something that no longer has the power to steal your peace. Feel how much lighter you are with each release. Notice how your shoulders relax, how your jaw unclenches, how your breathing deepens. This is what it feels like to truly cast your cares on me, because I care for you with an everlasting love. The sun is beginning to set now, painting the sky in magnificent colors of orange, pink, and purple. But instead of feeling anxious about the approaching night, you feel peaceful, expectant. You're beginning to understand that darkness doesn't have to be something you fear. In my presence, even the dark hours can be holy, restful, filled with peace as the first stars begin to appear in the darkening sky. I see the trust growing in your eyes, replacing the worry that has lived there for so long. You're learning what it means to rest not just your body, but your entire being in my unfailing love. Come, let me show you the place where even your dreams are touched by heaven. As twilight settles over the mountain like a soft purple blanket, I lead you down a different path, one that winds through ancient olive groves and past quiet pools that reflect the first evening stars. The air is growing cooler, but it's the refreshing coolness of evening, not the chill of fear. Your body naturally begins to prepare for rest, not because you're forcing it, but because you're finally in a place where rest feels safe, possible, and deeply desired. We're approaching what I call the garden of sacred sleep. It's different from the garden where we began our journey together. That was a place of new beginnings, of morning light and fresh hope. This garden is designed for endings, the gentle ending of day, the sweet ending of worry, the peaceful ending of struggle, as you surrender to the rest your soul craves. The path we're walking is soft beneath your feet, covered with fallen flower petals that release their fragrance with each step. Jasmine and honeysuckle climb ancient stone walls, their perfume mixing with the clean scent of dew-kissed grass. Somewhere nearby, a fountain bubbles quietly, its gentle music joining the evening chorus of crickets and the soft whisper of wind through leaves. This is where I brought my disciples after the Last Supper. I tell you, as we enter through an arched gateway carved with words of blessing in languages both ancient and eternal. They were so troubled that night, so afraid of what was coming. They needed a place where they could rest, even in the midst of uncertainty. As we walk deeper into the garden, you notice the quality of darkness here is unlike any you've ever experienced. It's not the harsh darkness that makes you feel vulnerable or afraid. It's the soft, encompassing darkness of a mother's embrace, protective and nurturing. Here, darkness is not the absence of light, it's the presence of peace. We come to a quiet grove where the trees form a natural canopy overhead, their branches interwoven like fingers clasped in prayer. Through the spaces between leaves, stars shine with unusual brilliance, each one seeming to pulse with a gentle light that speaks of infinite love and care. Lie down here, I invite you, gesturing to a place where the grass grows thick and soft, naturally cushioned with moss and tiny night-blooming flowers. This is your resting place, prepared by love itself, blessed by the prayers of countless saints, and sanctified by my own presence. As you settle onto this natural bed, you feel something extraordinary happening. It's as if the earth itself is welcoming you, supporting not just your physical body, but your weary spirit. The ground beneath you seems to pulse with a gentle rhythm that matches your heartbeat, and you realize you're being held not just by soil and grass, but by the very love that formed you in your mother's womb. I kneel beside you, and my presence is more tangible here than it has been all evening. You can sense the warmth of divine love surrounding you like the softest blanket. You can feel the weight of my hand resting gently on your forehead, blessing you with peace that passes understanding. Close your eyes now, I whisper, and when you do, you discover that the darkness behind your eyelids is filled with the same gentle light that illuminated our mountain peak. This is how I want you to understand sleep, not as unconsciousness, but as conscious rest in my love. Not as a time when you're vulnerable and alone, but as hours when you're most perfectly held in my arms. I want to speak to the fears that have made sleep your enemy instead of your friend. The worry that something terrible might happen while you're unconscious. The anxiety that tomorrow's problems will be waiting for you. The fear that sleep itself might elude you again. Tonight all of these concerns I take into my own heart, and I transform them into trust. Your body knows how to sleep. I remind you as I feel your muscles beginning to relax, one by one. I designed it with this gift, this daily resurrection, this small death that leads to new life each morning. You don't have to force sleep to come. You only have to stop fighting it, stop analyzing it, stop worrying about it. As you lie there in the garden of sacred sleep, I begin to sing over you, not with an audible voice, but with the song of love that has been singing over you since before you were born. It's a lullaby older than time, a melody that your spirit recognizes even if your mind has forgotten it. This is the song I sang at creation, the song I hummed as I formed you in secret, the song I'll be singing when I welcome you home. Feel how your breathing naturally slows and deepens as you listen to this divine lullaby. Notice how your thoughts, which have been racing like thoroughbreds for so long, begin to slow to a gentle walk, then to a peaceful standstill. This is not the stillness of death, but the stillness of complete trust, complete surrender, complete rest in perfect love. I see the worry lines smoothing from your face, the tension melting from your shoulders, the tight grip of anxiety loosening its hold on your heart. This is what I've been longing to give. You not just sleep, but sacred sleep, holy rest, the kind of peace that restores not just your body, but your soul. Tomorrow will have its own grace, I whisper as I see your eyelids growing heavy. Its own strength, its own provision, its own miracles. But tonight, all you need to do is rest. Let me carry the burdens. Let me watch over your loved ones. Let me hold the world together while you sleep in perfect peace. The last thing you're aware of before sleep finally gently claims you is the feeling of absolute safety. You're not just lying on the ground in a garden, you're resting in the hollow of my hand, surrounded by infinite love, protected by divine power, blessed with supernatural peace, and as you drift into the sacred sleep you've been longing for, I remain beside you, keeping watch, singing over you, loving you with an everlasting love that knows no end. Sleep comes now, as gently as breathing, as naturally as sunrise, as peacefully as a child in loving arms. And in your dreams, heaven touches earth, and healing flows like honey through every part of your being in your sacred sleep. You find yourself in a place that seems familiar, yet gloriously new. You're walking through what appears to be your own home, but it's transformed every room, filled with warm, golden light, every corner peaceful and welcoming. This is how I see your life, not as the struggle you sometimes experience, but as the blessed sanctuary it truly is when viewed through the lens of divine love. In this dream, I'm walking through your home with you, and you realize I've always been there. I was there in the kitchen during those middle of a night moments when you couldn't sleep and made yourself tea, hoping the warmth would calm your restless heart. I was there in your bedroom during all those long hours when you stared at the ceiling, feeling alone with your worries. I was there in your living room when you paced the floor, trying to walk off anxiety that felt too big for your body to contain. I've always been here, I tell you, as we sit together on your sofa, but now it feels like the most comfortable place in the universe. Every sleepless night, every anxious thought, every moment when you wondered if anyone understood your struggle, was right here, loving you, holding you, even when you couldn't feel my presence. In this dream, you begin to see your insomnia differently. Instead of an enemy that steals your rest, you see it as those precious hours when the world grew quiet and you had my undivided attention. Some of your most honest prayers were whispered. In those dark hours, some of your deepest revelations came when silence finally gave your spirit room to hear my voice. I show you a mental picture of all those nights when you thought you were suffering alone. But in this heavenly perspective, you see the truth angels stationed around your bed like guards of honor. My spirit moving through your room like a gentle breeze, bringing comfort you weren't even aware you were receiving. You see how your restless nights were actually birthing something beautiful in the spiritual realm: deeper faith, greater compassion, stronger trust, and a tenderness toward other hurting souls that could only come from walking through the valley yourself. Do you see now? I ask as we watch this beautiful revelation unfold before you. Nothing was wasted. No midnight hour was meaningless. Every struggle was producing something eternal in you: patience, perseverance, hope, and a hunger for my presence that many never develop. In this sacred dream space, I begin to show you tomorrow, but not in the way you usually imagine it. Instead of seeing potential problems and reasons to worry, you see tomorrow through my eyes filled with opportunities for grace, moments of unexpected joy, divine appointments with people who need exactly what you have to offer. Small miracles disguised as ordinary moments. You see yourself waking refreshed, not because you got a perfect night's sleep, but because you woke up knowing you're perfectly loved. You see yourself moving through your day with a new kind of peace, not because all your problems disappeared, but because you're carrying my presence with you wherever you go. The dream shifts, and now we're in a vast library filled with books that shine like they're made of starlight. These are the prayers of the sleepless, I explain, running my hand along shelves that stretch impossibly high. Every midnight whisper, every anxious cry, every desperate plea for rest, they're all here, preserved like precious treasures, and each one has been answered, though not always in the way you expected. I pull one book from the shelf, and when it opens, golden light pours out like liquid love. Inside, you see the story of your own sleepless nights, written in the most beautiful script you've ever seen. But it's not written as a tragedy or written as a love story, the story of how I used even your insomnia to draw you closer to my heart. Every time you couldn't sleep and chose to pray instead of panic, you were writing poetry in the heavenly realm, I tell you as we read together. Every time you got up and spent those quiet hours reading my word or simply sitting in my presence, you were composing symphonies that make the angels weep with joy. The dream continues, and I show you something that takes your breath away. A garden where every flower represents a prayer you've prayed in the middle of the night. Some are small and delicate, like the whispered help me prayers. Others are bold and bright, like the moments when you declared your trust despite your circumstances. All of them are beautiful. All of them are treasured. All of them have contributed to this magnificent garden of midnight grace. This is why I'm not in a hurry to cure your insomnia, I explain as we walk among these prayer flowers. Yes, I long for your rest and healing, but I also treasure these sacred hours we've shared when the world was asleep and it was just you and me, working out your salvation with fear and trembling, growing in grace through the most unlikely circumstances. As the dream begins to fade, preparing to transition into the deepest, most restful sleep you've had in years, I give you one final gift. I place my hand over your heart, and you feel a warmth spreading through your entire being. It's the warmth of perfect love, casting out all fear. It's the warmth of divine acceptance, melting away all shame. It's the warmth of eternal security, replacing all anxiety with unshakable peace. Sleep now, my child, I whisper as the golden light of the dream gradually dims to the soft darkness of perfect rest. Sleep knowing you are held, knowing you are loved, knowing that whether you sleep or wake, you remain forever in my care. The dream fades like morning mist, but its peace remains, settling into your bones, your breath, your very being. Now comes the deep sleep you've been longing for, restorative and healing, blessed by heaven itself. You awaken not with the jarring shock of an alarm or the heavy weight of unfinished rest, but gently, naturally, the way flowers open to morning light. The first thing you notice is the absence of that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach. The second thing you notice is how deeply rested you feel, as if you've been sleeping for weeks instead of hours. I'm still here with you, just as I promised I would be. The morning light filtering through your windows seems different, somehow softer, more golden, touched with the same quality of light we shared in our journey together through the night. You realize that what happened wasn't just a dream or a meditation. It was a real encounter with divine love, and it has changed something fundamental in your relationship with rest, with worry, with trust, as you stretch and feel your body responding, with gratitude instead of stiffness, with energy instead of fatigue. I want you to understand what has actually taken place. You didn't just get a good night's sleep though, you did. You didn't just find temporary relief from anxiety, though you did. You experienced something much deeper and more lasting. You learned how to rest in my love, and that knowledge will transform not just your nights, but your days. Good morning, beloved, I whisper to your awakening heart. See how I make all things new. See how even the things that seemed like your greatest weaknesses can become doorways to my greatest gifts. The insomnia that has plagued you for so long has actually been developing something precious in you, a hunger for my presence that many people never cultivate. The anxiety that has felt like such a burden has been teaching you to lean on me in ways that those who've never struggled might never learn. The sleepless nights that seemed so empty were actually full of my presence, preparing you for this moment of breakthrough. As you move through your morning routine, you notice how different everything feels. The same tasks that usually feel overwhelming now seem manageable, even pleasant. The same responsibilities that typically trigger anxiety now feel like opportunities to trust me with the details while you focus on walking in the peace we discovered together. This is what I want you to carry into your day, not just the memory of a peaceful night, but the living reality of my presence with you always. When challenges arise, and they will, remember the healing waters where we washed away your burdens. When worry tries to creep back in, and it might, remember the mountain peak where you learned to trust the bigger picture. When evening comes, and you wonder if you'll be able to sleep again, remember the garden of sacred sleep, where you discovered that rest is not something you have to earn or achieve. It's something you receive as a gift of grace. I know that some of you listening to this story might be thinking, but what if it doesn't work for me? What if tomorrow night I'm back to tossing and turning? Let me speak to that fear directly. This isn't about perfect performance or never having another restless night. This is about knowing that whether you sleep easily or struggle with rest, you are never alone, never unloved, never forgotten. Some nights you'll sleep like a baby, feeling the peace we've shared tonight. Other nights might still be difficult, but now you have tools. You know how to invite me into your restlessness, how to transform anxious hours into prayer time, how to find my presence even in the darkest moments before dawn. The most important thing you can take from our time together is this: you are deeply, perfectly, eternally loved. Your worth is not determined by how well you sleep or how little you worry. Your value comes from being my beloved child, and nothing, not insomnia, not anxiety, not any struggle you face can change that truth. As you prepare to go about your day, I want to leave you with a blessing that you can carry in your heart whenever sleep seems elusive again. Remember these words and let them be your anchor in restless times. The Lord your God is with you, mighty to save. He will take great delight in you. In his love he will give you rest. He will rejoice over you with singing. This is my promise to you, dear one. Not just for tonight, but for every night to come. I am with you. I delight in you. I give you rest. And I am always, always singing over you with love. As our journey together comes to its gentle close, I want you to know that this isn't really an ending, it's a beginning. You've learned something tonight that will change how you approach rest, how you handle worry, how you understand my love for you in both your struggles and your victories. Every time you lie down to sleep, remember that you're not facing the night alone. I am there, singing over you, watching over you, filling even your dreams with my presence. Every time anxiety tries to steal your peace, remember the healing waters where we washed your burdens away. Every time you feel overwhelmed by life's challenges, remember the mountain peak where you learned to trust the bigger picture. You are my beloved child, perfectly known and completely loved. Your insomnia doesn't disqualify you from my blessing, positions you to receive it in deeper ways. Your struggles don't separate you from my love. They create opportunities for that love to be revealed more clearly. Sleep well tonight, dear one. Sleep knowing you are held, knowing you are cherished, knowing that in waking or sleeping, in struggle or peace, in anxiety or rest, you remain forever secure in my everlasting arms. I love you with a love that never fails, never fades, and never fades, and never ends. Rest in that love now and always. Sweet dreams, beloved, sweet dreams.